I am so much more disheveled than I usually would be to do a video like this, like physically and emotionally disheveled, and kind of struggling to find a place with the right lighting to do this this morning. And this feels like the perfect way to show up for the journaling kit for Existential Dread. I get two responses to this when I tell people about it. Some people are like, oh, fuck yes, like I need that, and they're in already. And then other people are like, what? It can feel incongruous for a person who's out here every day helping people make their creative dreams happen and like really believe in themselves, to be doing something totally focused on existential dread. But existential dread is real. Most of us are feeling it in some way. Not everyone is aware of it, but it's like, it's a weight. It's heavy, and it's making things harder for us. And that is something I've always done in my work, is like, we have to face the things that make things harder for us and do something about them. So this is a really simple kit. It's 4 pages of journaling prompts that you cut out and paste in your journal. I love a cut and paste. Some people don't. You don't have to print these. You could just look at them and then answer them in your journal, right? You can do whatever you want with it. I love to cut them all out and then tuck them into my journal and then just grab one whenever. Now, that does put them out of order, and I did put them in an order that seems helpful, and like, your journal, your rules, you don't have to keep them in order, right? No rules here at all. And the important work when it comes to existential dread is just to be with it and to explore it. And I just wanted to start by reading you the first prompt, which is, it says, the American Psychological Association defines existential dread as a profound, deep-seated psychic or spiritual condition of insecurity and despair in relation to the human condition and the meaning of life. And then it says, see also angst. But the prompt on that is, how would you define it? We get to define it however we want. Is there a heaviness that you're feeling and have maybe been feeling for the last couple of years or 5 years even, or more, that you didn't used to feel? Is there a new kind of thing, heaviness about the state of the world, about the human condition that you are experiencing and holding in your body? That's what we want to be with. And we know that our natural tendency is to, like, something this big and uncomfortable, we want to avoid it. And we know that every feeling that we avoid, we're not actually avoiding at all. We are pushing it deeper into our bodies. And these, like, pushed down feelings become weighed down, and they get heavy, and they impact us, and they hold us back from being who we really want to be and doing what we really want to do. And that's why it's so important to be with. And so if you are a member of the Creative Dream Incubator, I'm going to remind you about the unsticking station, one of the many practices for inner work we have there. But that gives you 4 different meditations, alchemy meditations, which is transforming one thing into another thing. And so those are longer processes for really sitting with the feelings that come up in ways that transform them, without just like trying to turn sadness into joy, right? But in actually listening to the sadness, listening to the grief and the dread, and understanding what it has to teach you. All of our feelings are a part of us. All parts of us are valid. And when it comes to our feelings, like, these are, like, in this work of creative dreaming, we talk a lot about inner knowing and intuition and inspiration, which are all like inner states, like ways of listening to ourselves. And the uncomfortable feelings are just as valid ways of listening to ourselves. These are also forms of inner knowing. And when we don't listen to that knowing and completely try to stifle it, we're operating on less knowledge than we should be or could be. So there's healing in just the act of sitting with whatever comes up for you when you explore your existential dread. And also, sometimes, if we talk about existential dread, if you're feeling like, but I don't know what that is and I'm not sure, whatever you're feeling that you wish you weren't feeling, that can be your definition. It's just that in these times, these large things happening out in the world that we can't control can spark this larger sense of dread. I think a lot of grief, anxiety, and that can be categorized as existential dread. That's what I'm talking about. And we're just never gonna get away from it or free of it without being with it. So that's what this is. Different questions that kind of, and no rush. That's the other thing I wanted to say about these prompts. Like the goal isn't to answer everything as fast as possible or even to answer any question at all. It's to sit with it and notice what happens for you. So, the second prompt here, what does your existential dread want? Oh, how does your existential dread want to be expressed? So if you stick that in your journal and then you're just like, you don't know, and maybe that sparks some kind of some other thoughts. Follow those thoughts. I call them the rabbit holes. And in this kind of work, every rabbit hole is great. Every rabbit hole is great because this is what comes up for you in response to sitting with a question. And when you work with your feelings and your dreams in this way, it gets messier before it gets clearer. And so if it gets like, I don't know, if you're feeling like I'm doing this wrong, it's a really good sign that you're doing it right. So take this at whatever pace feels right for you. There are no rules. There's no way to get it right or to get it wrong. This is just meant to support you in exploring and working through some of the existential dread that you're feeling so that it doesn't become calcified within you, so that we can let that flow out. And one of the questions I'm going to share with you here is, what specifically breaks your heart right now? What does this tell you about your values, needs, and dreams for the world? Are any new dreams being born? So as I said that, my cat just came up to me. I love it. But he doesn't want to be on camera. But that is the ultimate aim when we really listen to our feelings, and I'm saying, like, this is a form of inner wisdom. This can tell us how we want to respond, because our creative dreams are like something in us that wants to happen. I think they are how our soul shows us our path, shows us who we really are, shows us what we're really capable of. But they're also a way that we respond to the world. So new ways of being in the world may be being born for you right now in light of everything that's happening. And I think that's really exciting. I still always believe that we can create a better world, a world that gives everybody what they need, a world that truly supports everyone and really honors and respects the dignity and sacredness of every form of life. That's my big goal with this. And that's the thing that I hope will make it that little light at the end of the tunnel. Because when we are avoiding our feelings of existential dread, there's a comfort in that, right? Even though what we're doing is pushing them down and making things harder for us in the long term, in the short term, there's a comfort in not having to feel the uncomfortable feelings. And in this, I'm going to ask you to feel the uncomfortable feelings, to sit with yourself, to sit with whatever's going on inside you. And to do that, I'm offering this hope that on the other side of that, there can be this renewed sense of how you want to respond to what's happening and what you want to create next. So I'm hoping that that can be the light that helps to pull you through.